I never would have believed that one ordinary evening conversation could completely change the balance of my marriage. Rachel, my wife, had always possessed a tongue sharp enough to cut through anyone's confidence. But that night, she went further than ever before. We were sitting in our living room in Boise, Idaho. The hum of the air conditioner filled the pauses between us. I was half listening to the news, half reading a book, when she suddenly dropped a comment that froze me mid-sentence. "You know," she said lightly, "if I wanted, I could have someone else in my life by tomorrow." Her tone was casual, but her eyes challenged me, waiting for my reaction. She leaned back, legs crossed, a teasing smile curving her lips. I didn't look up, didn't even flinch. Rachel loved stirring emotions, anger, jealousy, panic. But I'd learned long ago that reacting only gave her more power. I closed my book, letting the quiet thud of the cover fill the silence. "Is that so?" I asked evenly. My tone was calm, not cold, not distant, simply steady. For a moment, a flicker of surprise crossed her face. She'd been expecting outrage, a defensive retort, some flash of weakness. None came. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees, her smirk fading. "You're not taking this seriously," she said, disbelief creeping into her voice. "I am," I replied softly. "I just don't feel threatened. Go ahead. Try." Rachel gave a short, uneasy laugh. "You think I'm bluffing?" she asked, her voice wavering slightly. That was the moment everything shifted. For 4 years, she had controlled the tone of our marriage through teasing, manipulation, and subtle digs meant to chip away at me. But that night, the balance changed, not through anger or argument, but through quiet composure. I watched her reevaluate, realizing she had misjudged both my patience and my clarity. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air thicker. And in that stillness, I understood something profound. Calm confidence is often stronger than any confrontation. Rachel shifted, restless. "So you're just going to sit there and let me say things like that?" she asked, testing me again. I shook my head. "I'm not letting anything. I'm just observing." Observation, something she never practiced. She thrived on immediate reactions, emotional flares, and the surrender that often followed. But I wasn't playing that game anymore. I had changed the rules. She leaned back and crossed her arms. Silence filled the space. Then, with hesitation, she asked, "And if I did? If I walked away tomorrow, would you even care?" I took a moment before answering. Not because I was afraid, but because I wanted my words to be exact. "I would care," I said, meeting her eyes. "But not in the way you think. I care about integrity, honesty, and respect. Those can't be replaced, not in a day, not ever." Her smirk faltered, giving way to uncertainty. "Integrity? Respect?" she repeated, almost scoffing. "I'm talking about someone who can love me, make me laugh, spend time with me." "Love," I interrupted gently, "isn't something you trade like an object. You can't just swap it out when it's inconvenient. What you're calling a replacement is just an illusion." She stared at me, frustration and curiosity mixing in her expression. She had never encountered resistance like this from me before. For years, our exchanges had followed the same script, her provocation, my reaction, her satisfaction. But now that cycle was broken, shattered by steadiness. Rachel exhaled softly. The silence between us said more than words ever could. I could see her searching for footing in unfamiliar territory. Her confidence wavered, her mind racing to adjust. In that quiet, I felt peace. Real, grounded peace. I had reclaimed something that had long been buried. Control not through dominance, but through calm. She studied me, chin resting on her hand, eyes narrowed as if reading a new language. "You really don't feel threatened, do you?" she whispered. "Not all," I said. "You can boast, you can try, but my sense of self doesn't depend on anyone proving anything to me. And neither does the truth of this marriage." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "You're calm, too calm," she murmured. And in that moment, I understood something vital. Calmness is often mistaken for weakness, yet it's one of the most powerful forces a person can have. It means control. It means patience. It means refusing to be manipulated. "I'm not here to prove myself to you. I said quietly, "and I'm not here to watch you prove yourself to me. If love to you is just a competition over who could be replaced faster, then maybe it's time to redefine what love really is. Love isn't speed. It's depth, it's trust, it's understanding." She shifted again, visibly uneasy. I didn't press further. The silence did the work for me. It carried the truth gently between us, impossible to ignore. Rachel had always thrived on chaos, on emotional sparks, on reaction, but she found none that night. Finally, she spoke, her voice softer, almost regretful. "Maybe I've underestimated you. Maybe I never realized how much control you actually have, how much I don't." That small admission, buried beneath years of pride, was enough. The dynamic had changed forever. I hadn't won through anger or clever words, but through composure, through patience. I smiled faintly, not with triumph, but quiet certainty. "It's not about control, Rachel," I said. "It's about understanding, knowing the value of the people in your life, and of yourself. Respect, honesty, and clarity. Those are what hold things together. Everything else is just noise." She nodded slowly, her expression thoughtful. The atmosphere felt different now. No tension, no hostility, only acknowledgement that something fundamental had shifted. That night, I went to bed without argument, without the usual frustration. For the first time in years, I felt peace and a sense of regained self-respect. Rachel, for all her confidence and dominance, had met someone who refused to play along. I had shown her that real strength isn't loud or aggressive. It's quiet, composed, and patient. True power doesn't come from how easily someone can be replaced. It comes from knowing your own worth. And in that still, steady silence, I finally understood the truth. Respect, patience, and quiet confidence will always outweigh any boast or threat.